John Fetterman looking like your local car mechanic while presiding over the Senate this week, right after Chuck Schumer relaxed the chamber's dress code. The Dems' man-child also getting to wear a baggy button-down shirt, knee-length shorts, and sneakers while meeting with Ukrainian President Zelensky. But now Fetterman's fellow colleagues, who include Democrats, have had enough of this disgraceful attire.
I think we need to have standards when it comes to what we were wearing on the floor of the Senate. I can't understand exactly what he was thinking at that point.
I don't like it, and I think it would have been better if we had a discussion about it ahead of time.
My mom's upset. She said, you know, we sent you to the Senate, you went out, you buy all these nice suits, and now they get rid of the dress code.
Chuck Schumer spawned the floor. I mean, this is a bar that people can shuffle over and probably will.
I just think the people of Pennsylvania are embarrassed. I'm embarrassed for them.
But it's all a big joke to Senator Slob.
Of course. I've heard that some people are upset about that, and the right have been like losing their mind. You know, they're just like, oh my God, you know, dogs and cats are living together, and you know, like I said, aren't there more important things we should be talking about rather than if I dress like a slob?
You know, it's kind of interesting, Jesse. He says, aren't there more important things that we should be talking about? But isn't it interesting that Chuck Schumer makes a decision that with all the issues going on in the country, he decides that he wants to pretty much lower the dress code for Fetterman, of all people?
He doesn't have a reason to look like a slob. He's no different than anybody else. Peggy Noonan, I'm going to pull a Dana Perino. Peggy Noonan wrote a beautiful piece in the Wall Street Journal today. He says, if when you ask less of people, they're going to give you less. And she says Fetterman's a phony because he was born into a rich family and went to Harvard. He's not some man of the people. He's a fraud. By dressing appropriately, you're showing respect for your colleagues. You're respecting the institution, which is supposed to be the world's greatest deliberative body. Preeminent men set foot on those hallowed grounds.
And ladies.
Public servants, of course, make sacrifices. You have to go out of your way to look good. You don't just roll out of bed. It shows inner discipline, that you can comport yourself in a proper way. And it shows modesty to reflect the fact that, you know, you might not want to dress like that, but you have to dress like that because you are adhering to the standards of everybody else that your colleagues are. And it shows America that you respect them. And it shows that you care about the institution and you're modeling your behavior for young people. But he doesn't care about any of that. He thinks he deserves more. He thinks he deserves an exception to the rule, and he doesn't. He's just like everybody else.
You know, what's interesting, Jessica, is that in October, Fetterman said something like, I'm going to only wear what you're supposed to wear and whatever the dress code is. Meanwhile, Schumer changes the policy for him.
Yeah, I thought, remember, it was just a couple months ago that we were debating whether it was okay to wear like in-betweeny sneakers because Hakeem Jeffries had a rubber sole on his, but they were still leather. And everyone basically agreed that you should be able to wear nice sneakers, that we have evolved in that direction. I didn't expect this. I thought maybe business casual, right? A suit, no tie, something like that is obviously a big change. I do agree that we have bigger issues, and Senator Fetterman has promised the Republicans if they actually pass a bill and keep the government open that he'd be happy to wear a suit. But I am quite old-fashioned this way. I still get dressed up to go to the theater. I don't go on an airplane dressed like a slob. I think it's important to look nice for the people that you're around. It makes you sit up straighter as well yourself. And it was interesting, the dichotomy, because obviously this was a big story yesterday. And then I was watching Senator Fetterman speaking at a hearing, and it was really touching what he was talking about his difficulties after his stroke, processing what people were saying to him. And he uses his device, right, to make sure that he's not missing what people are saying. And I was wondering at that moment, are there folks that aren't listening to the content of what he's saying, which is so important for people who have gone through a stroke or who are disabled and have troubled with this because they are consumed that he's wearing a T-shirt or something like that. And I will also say, Kyrsten Sinema has sat up there, the Democratic senator from Arizona, wearing like a little denim vest. And I remember no one said anything about that. That feels on par with wearing an oversized T-shirt
Okay, all right. He looks like a car mechanic, Kennedy. He looks like day after day. Why is he wearing a hoodie? Why is he presiding over the Senate in shorts?
Are we going to do that? Are we going to do that for every single senator? Every single one who has a peccadillo or a special need that
he doesn't have a special need. He's dressed like that since we heard about him.
Yeah, no, he doesn't. He's like the oldest Gen Zer in Congress. And he's 54 years old, but he's acting like a 21-year-old. Like, I need self-care and I need this to be about me. And it has nothing to do with what he's gone through. And I have a great deal of sympathy for the amount of time that he spent in treatment for his depression, which, you know, I really think that was incredibly brave of him to come out and talk about that.
And I think he's doing well now.
This is unnecessary. This is completely unnecessary. And yes, there should be decorum in the upper chamber of the United States Congress. I'm sorry, but there are very few rules that we have left. And yeah, it's a very small price to pay. Dr. Oz is looking at this going, I'm a world-class heart surgeon and a cultural icon. Really, Pennsylvania? That's number one. And Kirsten Sinema.
He's from New Jersey.
She's putting on like pasties and a skirt made of little cocktail umbrellas going, keep the rule as it is. I'm going in.
All right, Greg, if you were a United States Senator, what would you wear?
Oh, you know it'd be chaps. Yeah, they say dress for the job you want. Apparently, he wants to catch rats down by the wharf. But he shouldn't be dressing for himself. He should be dressing for his constituents. And that's what makes, I think that's what, and the fact that he mocks people who are earnestly registering disgust over it, and they're actually being quite nice about it, to laugh at them. And he said, it's the right. It's not the right. You heard all those Dems. I wish the Dems would speak up about more lax standards. That would be nice. Perhaps when it comes to crime and immigration, I wish they were just as pissed off about that. But I'm happy that they found their limit in apparel. But you mentioned depression, and it's interesting. Depression causes people not to do things, not to take care of themselves. And one of the things that psychologists and therapists say is you try to control the things around you, right? Make your bed. You know, concentrate, exercise, work on your grooming and appearance. That's a foundation for a better life. If you can't do that, it's likely that you can't do other things. And again, it's for your constituents. It's not for you. But it feels like another example of where the standards that we had in the past can be mocked. It's like, oh, that's so stupid. Oh, it's like, oh, you're so upset. Cats and dogs living together. No, actually, we're not that upset. We just think less of you. We think less of you. By the way, I don't think his dress is the worst thing about him. It's the stuff he believes. Didn't he chase a black dude with a gun? Yeah. Maybe that's why he wears shorts, because it's easier to chase.
To run.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hey, Sean Hannity here. Hey, click here to subscribe to Fox News YouTube page and catch our hottest interviews and most compelling analysis. You will not get it anywhere else.